Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with John Kay and Nina Warhurst.
Hello, good morning. Our headlines today: devastating failings in maternity services. A report into Shrewsbury and Telford NHS Trust concludes that 201 babies may have survived if they'd received better care.
One mum has told us that her baby boy, Jack, died when he was just 11 hours old.
And I said, well, is that it? You don't know why he's died? And then they said, well, we don't know what else to tell you. And I was like, well, I want a post-mortem, because a baby just doesn't just die.
We're in Shrewsbury this morning ahead of the publishing of that biggest review of maternity services in the whole of NHS history.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calls for caution over Russia's pledge to scale back fighting in parts of the country.
Meanwhile here, Ed Sheeran and a host of other stars raised £12 million at a charity concert to help with humanitarian efforts in Ukraine.
Good morning. The painful reality of the cost of living crisis. Food charities report an unprecedented demand for help as shop prices, energy bills and benefit changes all begin to have an impact.
Good morning. The world of sport and beyond is getting ready to say goodbye to Shane Warne. The state memorial for the Australian cricket legend will take place in an hour's time in Melbourne after Warne died of a suspected heart attack earlier this month.
In 2014, this moat was filled with poppies. In 2018, it was filled with lanterns. For the Platinum Jubilee, the area surrounding the Tower of London is going to be planted with 20 million flowers.
And we've said goodbye to the spring warmth and hello to Arctic winds. A big drop in temperature for all today and a little bit of sleet and snow too. I've got all the details in your forecast right here on Breakfast.
Morning everybody, the date is Wednesday the 30th of March and our main story is that a report into the largest maternity scandal ever seen in the NHS is expected to reveal serious failings in the care of hundreds of women and babies when it's published later this morning.
The inquiry will conclude that 201 babies might have survived if better maternity support had been provided by Shrewsbury and Telford Hospital Trusts.
Dozens of other children sustained life-changing injuries as a result of those failures. Our social affairs correspondent Michael Buchanan has been following this investigation.
Adam is nearly 11 years old. He is hearing impaired. He's visually impaired. He's autistic. He's asthmatic. He has learning difficulties and developmental delays.
In the hours after his birth, Adam Cheshire was refusing to feed. He had developed an infection, Group B strep, that staff at the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital failed to spot.
And on each occasion that I called them, they kept checking him and saying, "It's fine, don't worry about it, he's okay." Hello, you. Hello. Have you come to say hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Adam spent 23 days in intensive care, but survived.
Are you playing upstairs? He was being referred to as a miracle. Nobody had expected him to live. Can you go play upstairs, please, sweetheart? Because everyone had expected him to die.
However, when Charlotte started questioning why her son was profoundly disabled, she realised that she'd received poor maternity care.
If they had induced me sooner, because natural labour wasn't starting, if they had monitored him appropriately after his birth, if they had made sure he fed, if they had even taken me seriously when I was saying there's something wrong, that's why I believe they're responsible for not all those warning signs that they missed.
The family say the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital didn't carry out any investigation into why Adam was disabled, a common theme at the Trust over many years, and so the errors continued.
I went in on Thursday, waters was leaking. They didn't induce me till Saturday.
4 years after Charlotte Cheshire, Hayley Matthews had a similar experience. She was left for hours after her waters broke.
If they'd have listened to me from the beginning, you know, Jack probably would have been here today.
In what way?
I repeatedly asked for a caesarean and I was knocked back every chance.
Jack was born in a poor condition and died just 11 hours old.
They literally said, we don't know why he's died. And I said, well, is that it? You don't know why he's died? And then they said, well, we don't know what else to tell you. And I was like, well, I want a post-mortem, because a baby just doesn't just die.
The post-mortem found Jack had died of Group B strep, but still the Trust didn't learn.
Baby Pippa.
Shortly after this video was taken, Pippa Griffiths had died, aged 31 hours. Again, it was Group B strep. Again, her mother's concerns had been ignored.
I just thought, I can't hear the breathing anymore. And I sort of went still and watched her chest for and it wasn't. So I put my hand under her nose to feel the breath, and there was nothing.
Over 1,000 families in Shropshire will learn today the extent to which they were failed by the NHS. The Trust say they took full responsibility for their errors and offered their sincere apologies. Michael Buchanan, BBC News, Shrewsbury.
One of those hoping to get answers today is Carly McKee. Carly's daughter Keely died in 2010, less than 31 hours after being born at the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital, where staff failed to spot that she was suffering from pneumonia. We can speak to Carly now. First of all, Carly, I'm so sorry about what's happened. And I don't underestimate how difficult it is to come on the telly and talk about it as well. So if you want to stop or just pause at all, just say, and that's not a problem. If you're okay to, do you want to just tell us what happened in your case?
So Keely was born on the 20th of March. I was taken in for to be induced on the 19th, as my husband was in the army and he was due to go away, so they induced us. Everything was sort of okay up until labour. Her heart rate kept dipping. They ended up having to press a red buzzer for, other people to come in and intervene. Luckily, she was born. Everything was looking good. Within, the first 10 minutes, it was all, it was okay. It was nearly tragedy then. It wasn't until, a couple of hours later, she started having these blue episodes. And we would say to the hospital, she keeps going blue. Is this normal? And we were reassured within the first 24 hours of life that the coloration, sometimes a newborn can be off. So as a new parent, you listen, you expect, they know what they're talking about. And 6 hours later, we were told we could go home. Everything was fine, even though she had kept having these blue episodes. The next day, she continued to have these episodes. The midwife, head midwife and a trainee came out, and Keely was again blue. She was a bit cold, limp, and the midwife just said that she needed to be sick. She had a lot of mucus on her chest. She just needed to be sick. Then we went to my mum's to watch the Liverpool Man U match. When I got to my mum's had 4 children. She knows her colour was not right, and she sent us back home to phone the antenatal ward to get her checked over. So we went home. Keely was crying in the background, and they said, yeah, bring her up if you're concerned. Bring her up. It'll be okay. And it was on the way to hospital that Keely actually passed away, so we never managed to get her back to the hospital.
Carly, it's Nina here. I'm so sorry for your loss. You said it there, though, that as a new parent, you listen to the experts, don't you? You're so vulnerable, you're so tired, you have no reason to doubt their expertise. What was the point at which you thought they got this wrong?
When my mum was quite strict about, quite emotional about it's not right. It's really, her colour's not right, so we need to get her seen ASAP.
By which point it was too late?
Yeah, it was too late then. We had been reassured so many times by staff in the hospital that her colour was fine, even though she was making these grunting noises. a vocal baby. That's all it was put down to. You know, she's quite a vocal baby with all these grunting noises. Later to find out that that's all part of the packet, that's part of pneumonia, those are all big symptoms, so it's very hard.
Carly, we now know that 201 babies might have survived there if there had been better maternity care. When you hear that number, as well as the number of all those others who suffered life-changing medical problems as a result of things that happened, and this review published today, how do you begin to process those kind of details?
I don't even think you can. I don't think... Me personally, I don't think I can. How can it happen? I don't know in what world how this has been allowed to happen, so I can't process that.
Carly,
not in a minute anyway.
You lost your husband, Stephen, didn't you, serving in Afghanistan in 2011, which means you say this day might not satisfy the pain. Of course it won't, but he hasn't got to see this happen. He hasn't got to see the full investigation take place.
No, he hasn't. No. Which is why I'm still continuing to do it, because, you know, if he was here, he would want me to do it. He would be right beside me doing it with me, so he's still with me fighting every step of the way.
I bet he is. We're just looking at a lovely picture now of him and your daughter together. I'm sure he's really proud of everything you're doing to keep up this fight for information. You get this review finally today, because it's been such a battle, hasn't it, to get this information out and in your hands and in the public domain. What do you hope that today marks in terms of that battle you've been fighting?
I hope the truth comes out, the severity of this trust, the lack of care. I hope the truth. I just hope the truth comes out and they admit what they have done is wrong and apologise. I've still to this day never had someone come to me and personally apologise for what they've done, what they've put us through.
And you've had another baby. What is it like being brave enough to put your trust in a hospital again, to become a mum again?
Yeah, well, I actually moved to Oxford to have my child in the John Radcliffe, and the care there compared to the care I received here was absolutely outstanding. I could never ever fault, and they taught me things, you know, I didn't know. I really felt like they were trying to teach me how to be a mum, and making sure I knew what to look out for, whereas here it was in, out, in, as fast as they could get you out, you're gone. So, where Oxford really took the time and made me enjoy being a new mum.
How are things going now, Carly?
Yeah, I've got 2 little girls now, 4 and 6, and it's the best feeling ever. It's the best feeling ever to have a family again. So, and I'm really proud of them for.
At some point, I'm sure you'll talk to them about Keely.
Oh, they know about their sister. They know about their sister. And they love her just as much as I do. They know, they've seen her photos, and they know about their sister's dad. Yeah, it's something I will never hide from them, you know.
Carly, thank you so much for sharing your story with us this morning. I think, you know, hard as it is, it's really important that people in your position explain the reality, because we hear the numbers and we see the headlines, but it's only when people actually tell us the reality of how it's affected their lives that I think the rest of us really truly understand. So we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and we wish you well.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
All right,
thank
you take care.
Bye-bye.
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 And all of those families who've given evidence in the hope that this won't happen again, incredibly courageous.
Yeah.